Today I'm sharing a snippet of my fertility journey, having a polyp removed and getting ready for my IVF egg collection with the NHS. It's an emotional roller coaster and I'm open about the highs, lows and everything in between. This is my personal experience and I'm sharing openly in the hope someone may feel less alone. Please remember, everyone's journey is unique. It's a long one, so grab a cup of tea. Welcome to a bit of a different video, a very different video I think. No idea when this is going to be uploaded, but today is the 3rd of September 2024. It's going to be our fertility journey video, I guess. I really don't know the outcome of this minute. Oh my gosh, I was fine until I sat down. But we have been trying for 2.5 years. We are probably just about to start IVF, fingers crossed. But it is 9:30 and I'm not going to acupuncture. Before all of this, I would have said like acupuncture is super woo-woo and just like not for me. There is some research that shows that acupuncture works. Clearly it hasn't worked for me, but I mean I have friends that it kind of has worked for. I guess we don't actually know what worked for them, but they were doing acupuncture and something worked for them after like years of trying. Particularly a lot of research around acupuncture and IVF. I've been doing it now, I think for about a year. It is expensive, that's the only thing I would say. And I typically go like every 2 weeks-ish, but I've had a big chunk off because I was away. Honestly, if nothing else, it's very relaxing. I still feel like I have a happy life with like sad little bits in it. I genuinely am very happy other than this, but it just helps, especially now, because apparently I wasn't even sad, but here we are. It's just a little bit overwhelming when I think about it too much, but generally I have been okay. I need to go now. I'm gonna go to acupuncture. I don't know what this vlog's gonna be like. Essentially, it's probably gonna be all over the place. Who knows if it ever see the light of day. If it does see the light of day, it's because I don't want other people to feel alone. Which to be honest, I haven't, but craziness. I haven't told like almost anyone. The people I have told are people that like, don't know my family or my like close friends. It's been like, you know when sometimes you have like a friend that's very, just like one specific friend, it's not like part of a friend group. Honestly, just because I don't want people to get stressed. I know the minute I tell my mum, she's gonna be sad. I feel like it's enough for me to be a bit sad that this has been difficult. We basically haven't told anyone, which does mean that we don't really have a lot of support around us. At this minute in time, no one but Mike knows that we are starting like next week. Let's go to acupuncture. I really didn't want to cry at acupuncture. I hate when I cry there. She's lovely, but I just feel like this isn't her job. The other thing about acupuncture is that they're quite knowledgeable. They see loads and loads of people typically for fertility stuff, so they are very knowledgeable. But let's go. I'm gonna stop crying. So I have been home from acupuncture for hours. I just totally forgot to check in. I don't know if I mentioned that this morning I got a call to confirm my appointment for tomorrow, but I'll be seen tomorrow. But whether I have my polyps removed, oh, I don't know if I really spoke about polyps. I have 2 tiny polyps, both under 5mm. I think they're probably like 2mm each. I have been told that it's very unlikely that that is what's affecting our fertility. They're like not putting it down to that at all, I don't think. Essentially when you do IVF, they want to make it as likely as possible that it will stick. The worry is that it could try to adhere to that part of my womb and then it not work. Initially I thought it was just a fold, but now they think it's a polyp. So we'll see tomorrow, I guess, if I have it removed. I just think, if nothing else, acupuncture is great because she answered so many of my questions. Not like all of my questions necessarily. I did have one and she basically said like, I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to that because very few people go through the NHS that she sees. But what she did say though is that she wouldn't go through the NHS as much anymore. It's because the waiting times are long. For me, that wasn't really an issue because I just wanted to try for quite a while. And I was told by the doctor that the reason that I haven't been rushed too much is because I am 32, so not too old. Oh, but she did say that she doesn't think that the service going privately is that good either, because I was complaining about a few NHS things. Basically, that I just don't think that I'm getting like that much communication. Like when I see them, they're great, but I'm not really getting that much communication wise. Other than that, I spoke about like whether she thinks I'll struggle. The first thing I start is almost like the pill, and I really struggle being on the pill. I'm just crazy on it. Equally, Mike's very patient and he knows that that's something that happens and that could possibly happen, and I feel like we both know it's coming, so I can kind of be like more kind to myself. I said that I've like cancelled a lot of things or like not booked a lot of things, knowing that this is probably gonna happen over the next couple of months. And she basically said that I'm gonna at least want to be busy during that 2-week wait. So I will cross that bridge when we come to it, and I will definitely try and book myself in for a few things. I don't know what. I do know that like being at home driving myself crazy isn't the way to go about it either. But now I'm gonna eat some carrots and go to pub quiz. Good morning. Excuse the mess. Basically, right, come and dump my stuff when I get home. Today is supposedly polyp removal day. I'm hopeful that it happens, but honestly, I'm not really holding my breath. I hope it does, or that we at least come up with a solution so that it can be done within the next 10 days, really. But it is day 4 of my period, so although it's lighter, it's not that light, like it's light-ish. So I don't know if it's gonna be possible. The papers definitely say it's not possible because you can't like see the polyps if you are bleeding. I emailed, I asked, and they said definitely come in, like don't delay this. So let's see how that goes. I'm feeling fine. I'm actually going to go in a little bit early. I'm going to take a little bit of a walk beforehand, get some lunch as well. I can eat because it's just going to be local anaesthetic. I'm going to take some paracetamol and maybe some ibuprofen. I also think I'll probably have to pick up some antibiotics. When I picked up my IVF stuff, like all the stuff, I do think I picked it up early, by the way. I think I picked it up 2 weeks before I needed anything, which I don't think makes that much sense. But I also got like this certificate because you have to pick up so much stuff. It's quite expensive, and you can get a certificate from the NHS that you pay, I think it's £32 for, and you can then get all your medication for 3 months for that price. Mike's not going with me. I don't know if I mentioned this already. He's not going with me. I think I'll be fine. I can't see why I wouldn't be fine. I had my Hycosi, which is where they check your tubes. Went for that and I done that by myself. I was totally fine. The doctor that done that for me, basically, she recommended I get my polyps removed, and she was like, oh, I think you'll be fine, like, don't worry about it. We don't have to sedate you or anything. I think your pain tolerance is good. I am expecting this to hurt a little bit. If I then feel that I need to be picked up, he can get there in like 25 minutes. That's an option, but I don't think that will be the case. I am going to basically beg. If they say that they can't take it out, I'm not going to beg for them to do it today, but beg for them to find me like a reasonable appointment. I can't go back on that waiting list. I've set this appointment in April. That was like 5 months ago. I can't wait another 5 months. Like, it's just unrealistic. People say that you have to chase a little bit, and I think it's true. I had my last phone appointment with a nurse. She said to me, where have you been? As though it's my fault that I haven't been seen. Which blew my mind, but equally, because I was quite happy to just try for a little bit longer, I feel like that's why I didn't chase. And the other thing is that Mike got an appointment, I think it was for 2 years time. 2 years, and then he called them up and was like, hi, what's going on? Like, this is ridiculous. Is there no way of getting a quicker appointment? And they were like, oh, do you want to come in today? We've had a cancellation. And he went in 2 years earlier than his appointment. So sometimes it is kind of luck. Back from the hospital. My appointment was at 2. It's currently 3:40. I took the train home. I had to go to the pharmacy. I went to buy myself a brownie as a little reward. Basically what I'm trying to say is that it did not take long. I first got called and asked to do a urine sample, which was fine, but I had peed about 10 minutes before, so I literally gave her like the most pathetic urine sample in the entire world. And she was like, oh, this is more than enough. It's just basically they have to make sure that you're not pregnant, which I thought was a bit silly because I'm on my period, but whatever. And then I had the doctor come in that was doing it, so there was 2 doctors and a nurse. I think one of the doctors was there to just learn. I don't think she was a trainee doctor, but I think she doesn't usually work at this hospital, and I think she was just there to see how things go. The first doctor though, I said to her, like, I don't have anyone here, like, is that okay? And she was like, well, maybe you should call someone. And I was like, maybe I'll just wait and see, because I could call Michael and he could be here in 20 minutes. So if at the end of this I don't feel very well, then, I mean, let's be honest, probably about half an hour, 40 minutes, but he could get there like soon-ish. And she was like, okay, that's fine. The second doctor came in and we got started. She basically said, you don't have to be brave if you don't want to. If you decide this is too painful, then we can just do it under general anaesthetic another day. She said, oh, we're going to try and do it because during your period I'll give it like a bit of a sweep, and then we'll like spray water into it. I don't know if the water's standard, but I had lots of water sprayed into me. They put in the, I want to call it speculum, is it called that? I, by far, find those so incredibly painful. Put that in, then she put in the anaesthetic. The speculum painful, the anaesthetic absolutely no issue whatsoever. They're like pumping water. The water is uncomfortable. It kind of makes you feel like you need to poo, but I think it's just because you feel quite full. Put in like this really long thing, I don't know what it is, it might be the camera. And then they put in a pair of tweezers, I didn't look at that, and they cut it. For me personally, I took 2 ibuprofens before I went in, maybe like an hour before. I would say the pain was quite low. I think the water was very uncomfortable. I honestly did keep my eyes closed for most of this because I was really very nervous. Like, I thought it was going to be really painful, and that just wasn't the case for me. It was quick, it was easy, the water was uncomfortable, the speculum was uncomfortable, maybe the removal was like ever so slightly uncomfortable, but it's such a short period of time, and that's my big thing. Like, as long as I'm not in pain for ages, I can handle like quite
quite a lot of pain as long as it's for like 10 seconds. The one thing I'm kind of having a bit of an issue with is that the doctors are being like really positive, which I know sounds stupid, but I feel like I just set my expectations. The doctor that found that I had polyps, I don't know what I asked her, but she basically said to me, if she were me, she would just keep trying for a little bit longer instead of going for IVF, and I kind of felt that was a bit of a weird thing to say. I think she was trying to be friendly. She said, oh, like, when are you starting your IVF? And I said, oh, like, I start the pills this month, this cycle on day 14, so in 10 days. She said, well, good luck with that, I really think it'll go well for you, which is like reassuring, but I just fear that it's going to be too reassuring, and that like everyone's been so positive that I think I will be extra sad if it doesn't go the way I want it to go. Oh, final thing, because I do want to make a cup of tea and eat my brownie. I also got given some antibiotics, tablets to take with my dinner, and that is it. I will see you probably in quite a few days, probably in 10 days, when I start my medication. Thought I'd update you today on like where we're at, because I think I haven't updated you in quite a while. Today's the 1st of October, and as I mentioned earlier, I started this on my last cycle, which started on the 1st of September. I think today's day 11 of my injections. I haven't had it yet, but I will have Boosterelin today, and I finished my tablets last week Wednesday, I think. Today's Monday, so about 5 days ago. I have been feeling absolutely fine. The injections are a bit difficult. I'll show you my tummy. Michael has been doing the injections for me. I haven't videoed any of that, but I probably will at some point. This is just from my jeans, so don't worry about that. But here and here I've got a bruise, maybe a couple of other tiny bruises. Yeah, that's definitely a bruise there as well. So I have 3 bruises, I would say. I think maybe I could give them to myself, but there was a day where he was home a bit late and I just waited for him, because as long as it's not like wildly late, I don't think it matters too much. Oh, my period this time was a bit late. It was 2 days late, I would say. 2 to 3 days late. I am down regulating, essentially trying to stop my ovaries producing. I've heard that the reason that they do this is so that when they can start to stimulate them, every follicle is at the same sort of stage. I would say that my period has been very heavy. Mood wise, I have been fine, apart from maybe like a day or 2 before my period. Actually, it was about 2 days before my period. I think I was a bit grumpy. Other than that, I've been absolutely fine. Tomorrow will be my I think it's my baseline scan. It's weird, I feel like with the NHS they don't really tell you like what things are called. It's just like, hey, come in for a scan. I think that's to then decide if I should start taking my stimulation injections. Actually, I'm feeling like super positive, I would say. That is potentially the naivety of this being our first try. So I'm like, yeah, this could work, and it could. But I do realise that if you kind of go into that with this mentality, then maybe it can lead to me being like very disappointed, but equally that's the mentality I want to go into it with. I guess we're kind of like stuck now in between uncertainty, like when will the dates be. Like Mike for work, he would really like to know when the egg retrieval will be, but we just don't know. I'm hoping tomorrow I get a better idea. And then Thursday I have acupuncture. I think I mentioned this before, but I do think acupuncture has been helping in terms of like answering my questions. I'm really looking forward, to be honest, to doing an ultrasound tomorrow, an internal one, on quite a heavy period. It just feels a bit grim, but equally like they're used to this. That's what they do day in day out. So my toes are a bit cold at the moment, and I know in Chinese medicine at least they say that you should keep your back and your feet and your hands as warm as possible. Trying to eat like healthy-ish, but trying not to get too stressed about it. I'm basically just trying to eat a few more veg, maybe have slightly less like junk food, but I just had 5 biscuits because I'm on my period, so I feel like I deserve 5 biscuits. 5 is a lot even for me. So I'm back from hospital, picked myself up a little salad. I hate when there's like whole tomatoes in a salad. It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. My appointment didn't go as well as I'd hoped it would go, but equally I don't know enough about IVF to say, is this really bad? Or could it possibly just be like nothing, essentially? So I went in, they asked me like, do you have a full bladder? I was like, I would like to go to the loo first if that's possible. The nurse was like, no, let's go see the doctor first. I have had a letter in the past that said every scan will be internal, so come with an empty bladder, but I've learnt to not go with an empty bladder because often I need to give a urine sample. Got into the doctor and she said, like, how full is your bladder? And I was like, like, I don't know, like, what a weird question, really. I said, like, I haven't been to the loo in like an hour, but did go an hour ago. And she's like, okay, it's because we're gonna do maybe a trial transfer, I don't know, something along those lines. I wasn't expecting it, essentially. And I was like, oh, like, no one told me how to come with a full bladder. And she was like, it's fine, like we'll just try and do it. If it's not, like if we can't do it, like we'll just try again another day. She put in the speculum, she like counted my follicles. I have 11. 7 on one side and 4 on the other side. I have no idea if that's a lot or a little. I might go and Google that, but I know that I shouldn't because I'm just going to stress myself out if I do that. But I have asked in the past and they told me that actually like too many isn't great either. Then was like, oh, that's the transfer done. Like it went very, very well. It was very easy and your bladder's basically completely empty. So we know that when it comes to doing the actual egg transfer, it won't be an issue. That's obviously great. And she said to me like, you've got a cyst here. And she like told me how big the cyst was. I'm gonna check your previous scans and see if a cyst is always here and like nothing for us to worry about, or if it's new. And I said straight away, I was like, I've never been told about cysts, so I do suspect it's new. And she was like, yeah, that might be the case, so maybe we'll just check your blood test. My lining is too thick. I'm not gonna start injections yet, but I'm back in on Monday to check if my lining is thinner and if my cyst is smaller. Even if it's just started getting a bit smaller, that'd be fine. It's just that we don't want it to be getting any bigger. I have to do a blood test. Annoyingly, I was there today, obviously, and I was like, should I do a blood test today? And initially she was like, yeah. And then she was like, actually, like, why should we do a blood test today? Like, let's just do a blood test on Monday. And I was like, okay, fine. And then I got a call maybe like 3 or 4 hours later saying, actually, can you do a blood test tomorrow? And it's like, yes, I can do a blood test tomorrow. Of course I can. What a pain in my ass that I now have to go all the way back there tomorrow. So yeah, I've cancelled my acupuncture, which is supposed to be tomorrow, because I have to go do this blood test. And luckily she was very understanding. I just felt a little bit deflated. I texted Mike about it and I feel like he feels a bit deflated as well. And he said, oh, a cyst sounds very worrying. And I do think that like naturally we are taught that cysts should be a worry, because I think all of us do worry about polycystic ovaries. And I've been told in the past that like having a cyst is totally normal, and they come and they go depending on your stress levels and your hormones. Obviously I'm on like hormone injections at the moment. I'm obviously under some stress, even though I don't think I'm overly stressed. Of course, to a certain degree I am. I also asked the doctor, like, what's the likelihood of this going ahead, of the IVF going ahead? And I said, is it 50-50? And she was like, no, I think it's about 95%. I'm gonna like really take the next couple of days easy. I'm gonna try and eat good food. I'm gonna do a tiny bit of Googling, but try not to do too much. And then maybe, I think I'll find out about my hormones tomorrow. I'm gonna eat my food now and I will check back in with you. I'm not sure, maybe tomorrow. Let's hope it's just completely normal. Oh, so I'm wearing exact same jumper as yesterday, the same necklace. It looks like yesterday, but I washed my hair and I have no makeup on. Oh, so I went to do my blood test. Got there, she was like, what is this blood test? Is it a progesterone test or an estrogen test? And I was like, I don't know. Yeah, so now I basically just have to wait for, I don't know, I'm assuming a phone call. I hope a phone call. Going into the hospital, so many people are pregnant. Like I said, like it doesn't typically bother me that other people are pregnant. I think that's great. Like just because I can't get pregnant apparently, doesn't mean that other people shouldn't be. But you kind of felt like, oh man. I think it's because in my head, that was gonna be me in like 10 months time, and now I'm a little bit like unsure, like will that be me? Of course, like I never knew for certain anyway, but I feel like I was feeling so positive about it, and now I'm just like, oh, are we gonna have to delay? But equally, like, I understand that we need to go into this in the best possible way, but it just makes me sad. You just can't predict anything. I really truly thought that like this year, like even if it was through IVF this year, I'm like, it could still happen. And I totally realise that. I'm so early on in this whole thing. I don't know why I'm getting so upset by it, but I am. And then other people are coming to me with their really shitty worries that are like so trivial. I'm like, in a year's time, you're not even gonna remember that this even happened. And I know it's because like they don't know what's going on with me, and that's why I think maybe you should tell people. But I just feel like guys, like all of us just need perspective, because maybe that would have been me 5 years ago. I don't mean to trivialize people's feelings, but I just feel like all of us just need to put life into perspective, really. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm still very thankful that I'm a healthy person. Everyone that I know around me, touch wood, is healthy, and I realise that like I'm so fortunate in so many ways. I'm so fortunate to be where I am now, because had this been 30 years ago, I wouldn't be here. And how fortunate I am to be here on the NHS. Had I just been born somewhere else, I also wouldn't be here. Having the possibility to do this on the NHS, there's so many things I've got to be thankful for, and I totally realise that. And that's why, like, generally I'm fine, but it's just the uncertainty is really difficult, I think. This video is just gonna be a roller coaster. Good morning. I have less than 4 minutes left on this memory card, so we're gonna try and make this quick. Today is Monday the 7th of October. I have just made it back from the hospital. I had another blood test and I've come home with a goodie bag. The last time I checked in, I had a cyst, and today we went back in to see if A, the cyst was still there, B, to do a blood test, which I feel like I kind of asked for rather than them, and C, to see if we can start the stims. And I don't know, my cyst seems to have gone, but a smaller one seems to have come back. So removing my plaster. One nurse told me it was a cyst, the other one told me it was an enlarged follicle. So whether one was lying, I think maybe is the case, but she was basically just waiting for confirmation from a doctor. But my blood test from last week shows that everything was normal. We're just doing another one this week to check if this cyst is doing something. But to be honest, I think we will probably start. I went in so nervous. I went in and I was like, hi. She's like, how are you? And I was like, I'm really nervous. And then I dropped like my wireless headphones, and the two headphones went in opposite direction, the case went in a different direction, and I feel like it was a bit like, I am expecting a call kind of any minute now. And then I received all my stimulation stuff, injection pen, bag so that I can do blood tests. I think it's like every other day. I'm feeling okay. I have acupuncture tomorrow and I feel like I really need it. I just need an hour to relax. I'm trying to chill out, but it's been really hard, and my jaw is getting really sore, and in turn I've got a headache. On Saturday I go to private clinic because the NHS don't store your eggs. They have to basically collaborate, essentially outsourced to a private clinic. And then I will also be having my egg collection at the private clinic and my egg transfer at the private clinic. I didn't know until today. I'm totally fine with that. It's like down the road. I have to go in on Saturday, and I have plans with my mum on Saturday, and as I've mentioned, nobody knows what's going on, so I don't know how I'm gonna get out of that. I've had two phone calls. One was to say that we're going ahead. The second one was to say that my appointment for Saturday, which I was nervous about because I would have to cancel my plans with my mum, and because she doesn't know, it's a faff. My appointment on Saturday is booked for 8 AM, which is ridiculously early, but I was like, what's the earliest you can do? And she was like 8, and I was like, okay, I'll take that. In hindsight, probably should have gone with 8:30, but we're here now. I'll take 8 o'clock. Very much looking forward to acupuncture tomorrow. I really feel like I just need to relax. Tomorrow, acupuncturist. Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, blood test. Friday, nothing. Saturday, a scan and a blood test at the private clinic. Mike's been doing my injections. He hasn't really enjoyed it, but like, I think it's only fair that if I have to get them, he has to at least give them to me and like prep them for me. But as you can see, I have a bruise here and a bruise here. This is just from my jeans. I'm very excited, which is just ridiculous. No, it's not ridiculous. I know it's not ridiculous. It's something we've been working towards. And so then this goes on like this, and then you see there's a little red dot there. Yeah. You just do this. Oh, this is really scary. Oh, I don't know if I spilt some. I hope not. Oh, I did a tiny bit.
I think so.
This goes into there. So I broke that off.
Oh, yeah, it's good.
Because it's got, I told you, anything that has this liquid on it, is you go into here like this, and you pull up all the liquid, okay? Then that goes in there.
I'm so sorry. Ready?
Yeah.
3. I'm gonna go
Right,
here.
yeah, but not on, yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Honestly, I think you were a bit slow.
Pull that out too
That all just
fast.
goes in there.
Well, that's just here.
You can't go under your belly button, that's the rule. Yes, done.
Was it?
Come out.
That was weird. Did you feel
Fine.
it?
Yeah.
Did you feel it go in?
Not really. This was the best one, I think. I'm very red because it was very hot earlier. I've decided to pick up these little bags that just have everything I need for the next 2 days. I just think this will make my life that little bit easier. We only have to do this for 2 weeks. Today's day 1, 14. So, and also annoyingly, for one of my injections, I'm supposed to take 150 ml, and I've been given 75 ml ones, which I think is because I'm supposed to take 2, but then it just means I have to take 1 extra injection, which is a bit annoying because obviously like my stomach's already quite bruised, but it's fine. And actually I feel like today they didn't really hurt too much as well. Oh, this is much lower than I expected. I can basically kneel here. This is day 3 of stims. I have had a headache today, but I've had like other really unimportant things going on that have like stressed me out. Mike's at football, so I'm doing my first, I practiced yesterday by doing an injection, and just like see that I could do it, but I'm doing all my injections myself today. I actually just think like the prep part is such a faff. Oh, this one is so weird. You have to like rub it along something to get all the liquid out from the top. Break the glass. I'm still quite bruised, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, that bruise is getting worse by the day. It's so hard to like push. But the needle part is easy because it's quite a thin needle. But like getting the liquid in. 1 of 4. Okay, last one for today. This is a nice easy one actually, these little pens. All done. That was just a faff really. I think it's much easier if someone else injects you, but doable by yourself for sure. And then this one has to go in my fridge, which is just so hard to hide. I basically just don't want anyone to come to my house because how do I hide this in my fridge if they're here? Hi guys, I am back from hospital. Today is technically day 8 of stims, but I take those injections at night, so I've had like 7 injections of stims. But we'd have a quick catch up. I'm terrible at keeping things quick, so let's give this a go. So started stims last week Monday evening. Was okay. I do think that there's like a tiny thing that the doctors didn't explain, and that was how I mixed one of my injections. I worked out when I got home I had to take 2 75 milligrams of this thing to make 150. I didn't realize that I actually didn't need like 2 of the liquids, so I was actually doing 2 injections. So I was basically doing 4 injections a day, and I would say like maybe like 3-4 days in, I would say I was like fed up of these injections. That one in particular I think is quite painful for me, at least. The other 2 are the boosterelin, which I've been doing for weeks and weeks now. The pen that's like automatic and really quick, really easy. Anyway, with the other thing, I was freaking hating it. Friday and Saturday I was just really not enjoying them. I think because I'd already done like 4 days, they were getting really painful. Some days we'd like mess up and then have to like inject a tiny bit more that we didn't realize was still in the injection. It was just that like 15 minutes of actually doing the injections, it just felt like such a faff. I realised that actually I just need to do 3 injections. We're just like a little bit more careful now. I think you just kind of adapt and like get used to stuff. Then Saturday and today I had a blood test and an internal scan as well. On Saturday I went to the private clinic because the hospital is closed on a Saturday. That's just proof that I have done a blood test, and I hadn't gone to the private clinic before. The private clinic is also where I will be doing my retrieval and my transfer. It's kind of like nice to kind of get an opportunity to go there. The doctor counted all my follicles and I tried to count them, and I think he counted 21, but a lot of them were quite small, so he would say under 6 millimeters. And then today I went to the doctor and I think she counted 13, and I asked her like, how come the other doctor counted 21 out loud and you're only counting 13? Like, have the other ones disappeared? Like, what's going on? And she was like, no, sometimes it's just the angle of the ovaries that we just can't see them, or they're very small. I just haven't counted those. And I was like, oh, could they still grow? And she said, yeah, they could still grow. I feel like 13 isn't the lowest number. I wasn't sure if I was going to say numbers, but here we are. I don't think 13 is like the lowest number, but equally like having really, really high numbers can also come with complications. And this number, it really is just like a middle number. I think for someone that is having fertility issues, 13 is not that low. I asked her, when is my retrieval likely to be? In my head it was likely to be on Monday, but she said it's probably going to be on Sunday, which I am fine with. I also asked about like baths and whether I can have a bath and like use heat. She said absolutely, but Michael shouldn't. So I just need to like remind him of this, because I think I am going to ask if maybe he doesn't go on any runs this week. And last time I saw my acupuncturist, which was last week Tuesday, I was like stressed that I only had 11 follicles, and she was like, 11's not bad, Sabrina, like don't worry about it, like 11 is a decent number. Now that I'm kind of like at 13, which is slightly more than 11, I am feeling like quite positive. But we will check in on Wednesday, because I think on Wednesday I'm also going to be taught how to give my trigger shot as well. Back doing our injections. I still have one in the fridge. Oh, I'm gonna do that fridge one downstairs. Oh. No, I'm gonna have to go get it because apparently you shouldn't do it when it's cold. I should take it out a little bit before, so I'm gonna go get it. You don't have to take some out of the fridge before you do it. It's just that apparently it hurts less, but it's one that I find very easy to do. So I probably could have left it a little bit longer, but I'm gonna set all these up. takes me a little while still. Okay, we're going to start with this one, which is the one that I hate the most, because I've also heard that if you like leave it like mixed beforehand for a while, that it's less painful. Yeah, this one's a faff, and because you're like mixing like essentially like a fizzy thing, I think that's why this one hurts so much. I truly hate this one. I actually don't mind doing it by myself. I thought I would hate it. I don't love the mixing part, but Mike doesn't always mix for me anyway, because he wasn't there on the day that I got taught to do the more recent ones. So he basically only does my Viscerellin. Yeah, I feel like he just kind of uses it as an excuse, but I don't really mind that much, to be completely honest. Okay, the question is, do I do the easy one or the hard one first? I'm also going to film this on my phone because I have none of this filmed on my phone. I feel like I'm going to want it to make a reel, hopefully, if we're pregnant at some point soon. Mike was saying that he really thinks that like my belly has grown. Obviously he didn't mean it in like a mean way, but I was like, oh, I just feel very like swollen here, and he was like, yeah, you can kind of tell, to be honest. Let's change this needle for one of these. Oh, what did I just drop? My freaking needle. Okay, that doesn't matter. I'm gonna have to get another one after. Oh, I hate this one so much. My cousin today asked if I'm Cinderella because I have to be home before 9. I don't think anyone thinks we're going for IVF. I think people would be more likely to think we're pregnant than to think we're going for IVF. Just I guess because we haven't mentioned it to anyone. Whenever we're finally pregnant, I will be able to explain that that's why I'm Cinderella. And it will all make sense, but at the moment it is true. It does feel like I'm a bit like Cinderella. But I just feel like the fat on my stomach has got harder, and that's why it's like getting more painful. Finally, the pen one. These are easy. By far the easiest, I would say. So then I'm going for 150 of these. And with this one, you just press the button down. And that's it. I'm going to take this downstairs, but we'll catch up tomorrow after the hospital. Hi guys, I'm back from the hospital. I had my 3rd hospital appointment drawing stims, like to see my ovaries and stuff, and to do a blood test. It was a mixed bag. I have cried a little tiny bit, and I really feel bad for crying. I have to go for my blood test before 10 AM, which is not an issue, but then my appointment was at 10:15, but then I worry that I might be late, or like the blood test might take longer than I expect. I don't have an appointment, it's just a walk-in, so then I'll basically go in really early. So I got to my 10:15 appointment at 9:15. No, I didn't get there at 9:15, sorry. I got there at 9:45, so I got there half an hour early, but then my appointment was like half an hour, 40 minutes late, so I kind of was waiting for an hour and 10 minutes, which is fine. Obviously I got there early, so part of that is totally my fault. I kind of felt like a little bit unsure, because when I got my last phone call, I asked her, why are you delaying my appointment by a day? And she basically said like, oh, your follicles aren't where you would like them to be, which I just took to mean that they're too small. And then I went in today and I said to the doctor, what's going on, sort of thing, because I don't think I was called by a doctor last time. I'm not sure who called me, but she just didn't seem overly knowledgeable in my opinion. So I said to her like, what's going on, sort of thing. She's like, oh, we're a little bit unsure. And I was like, oh, my follicle's too small. She's like, no, that's not the issue, your follicles aren't too small. And she was like, why don't we like do a scan and then we can talk, like having seen what's going on, rather than me like looking at other people's like notes. And I was like, okay, well, I guess let's do that. They never officially told me a number, but I can just count how many numbers that they're reading, because they're basically like measuring each individual follicle. She read out 21 numbers, so I can only assume I have 21 follicles. I was expecting my egg collection to be, today's Thursday, to be either Sunday or Monday. I think Monday is almost completely out of the question. I think it's going to be over this weekend. Seem to actually think it's probably going to be Saturday, which means I trigger today. I'm kind of all over the place. I'm sorry, this is really difficult for me to like kind of explain. She basically said, you've done better than we expected. So I think she was like, you have produced way more eggs than we expected you to. She was like very much describing the fact that I'm probably at risk of OHSS. Are you saying that I can't do a fresh transfer because of the risk of OHSS? And she was like, yeah, I am. And she's like, I can't tell you that for sure this minute because I don't have your blood tests from today. I only have your blood tests from 3 days ago. Your estrogen was so high on Monday that I could only expect it to be way higher than it was then today. So I think we'll probably trigger today. I think we'll probably have to do a frozen. And honestly, I was sad. the reason I'm angry at myself for this is because I know that there's people in that waiting room that I sat with that could only dream of having too many, potentially, obviously we still don't know, so touch wood. Look, I do have enough eggs in there, but even still I'm like nervous. But they could only dream of having too many eggs. Like, I know there's going to be people in that room that produce close to 0 follicles, and I know that like going in with 21 over 2 is of course such a blessing, because even only half of them have an egg, and even if only half of those are mature, that still leaves me with 5. But hopefully, obviously they have to like fertilize and stuff, but still, and I said this before, I have allowed myself to picture, and we all do this, like if you're going through IVF, I know you're in the very much in the same situation and have been whilst you're trying naturally as well. You picture when the baby will be born. I know that if we do the transfer next week, I can probably tell people at Christmas if it works, and obviously there's the if it works. Now I'm a little bit fearful, and it's stupid. I'm not fearful, I'm a little bit disappointed. It's not fear, I'm a little bit disappointed that we're gonna have to wait, but equally I don't want to get sick. I really don't want to get OHSS. The real reason why I don't want to get it is that if I end up having to go to hospital with it, which is obviously a risk if you do get it, I then have to tell my family, and I didn't want to have to tell them until we were pregnant. But I feel like going to hospital is a step too far to not tell them. And not just that, I feel like it's then also too much pressure on Michael, because you just never know what could happen. Anyway, I'm fine. I mean, please remember, I am very hormonal. I'm fine, I really am. I'm just a little bit disappointed. It would be nice to have a little bit of a break before injections, but then it does kind of mean that this will, I think I don't know what will happen after. It's a little bit sooner than I expected, because essentially I could be going in on Saturday morning, and I just need to do a few things, like take off my nail polish. Probably do that now actually. I want to like change my bed, I want to tidy my house. Oh, I also have loads of paper, not loads of paper, I have some paperwork to kind of read through, so I'm gonna go do that, because I might have questions for when they call me. Oh, this is electrolytes. I should have started these days ago. I don't know, apparently they really help. Okay, so I'm crying, but I don't really know why I'm crying, to be honest. I've got a call now. I find the private hospital that calls me, because recently they've been calling me, I find her very like harsh. Like, I find that she like really rushes me. Whenever I ask a question, like I just can't hear her, she's like very calm, but like gives me these really like, it feels like she's being a bit passive aggressive. I don't know if I'm correct or not. Anyway, we are triggering today. I think I just feel a bit scared by it. I just think it was a bit sooner than I expected, and like I'm just nervous as to why are we triggering. I think my blood test probably came back much higher than they wanted, but I think I'm taking 75 ml of menopause, I think that's what it's called, today at 5:30. But like I said, she was hard to understand, and it's like she's reading a script like really quickly. It's so annoying. But she said that someone else is going to call me today. I'm assuming before 5:30, because 5:30 is really soon. It's 4 o'clock now. It's like 5 past 4. I'm gonna set my alarm for 5:15 to take menopause, but I'm really hoping someone will call me before then, because equally, surely they're going home at 5:30. Who knows? If you want. Hopefully this is our last ever IVF stimulation injection. Where should we go?
There.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Not long. Not long.
It's trigger time. Well, actually, it will be trigger time in 9 minutes. I'm setting everything up. The last IVF injection we do, pre-egg retrieval injection that we do. Okay, we're ready. We're just now waiting for the correct time.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Like New Year. Oh, I hope it goes here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There we go.
Is it definitely all in, yeah? 110%.
Yes.
Okay, that one wasn't too bad, I wouldn't say. But nothing tomorrow, for sure. And then maybe back on it on Saturday, but egg collection Saturday. See whether we're doing fresh or not. I would still like a fresh. Good morning. Today is the day before egg retrieval. The one thing I will say about this whole procedure is that I have slept so incredibly well, and my acupuncturist was like, that's a good thing. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I have been so tired. Have a few work things to do. I actually have a work event, which I don't usually do on a Friday, but actually that's quite nice because it means I'm not just sitting at home Googling stuff, which is what I've been doing this morning. I feel like my heart is still a little bit set on a fresh transfer, but at this point, I think there's probably like a 10% chance of that happening. That's kind of the vibe I got yesterday. But I did get the text this morning, and we have to be at the hospital tomorrow at 8:30, which I think is quite a nice time, to be honest. It's a Saturday as well, so I don't think there'll be too much traffic. We are going to drive in, and it says I can't eat from midnight tonight, which is fine. Although I don't know what I'm going to do about my antibiotics. I assume I can just take them with me and take them when I'm there. I've got one of these. I've had these for ages. I feel like if you're trying to conceive, get one of these, because you'll be at some point where you're like really trying to take loads of vitamins. I'm not there. I just feel like I've done the vitamin thing. It clearly didn't help much. Mike does take vitamins. If you are interested in what he takes, I'll probably show you, because that's, the doctor never told me to take anything but vitamin D and folic acid, whereas for him, he has been told to take this one vitamin. At the moment, I just got my folic acid, my vitamin D, and my antibiotic in here, and I just find these help a little bit. Feeling good, feeling positive. It says I don't wear makeup and don't wear perfume, but today I have no injections. I might have no more injections for at least another month, I suspect, unless we do a fresh transfer. But let's catch up tomorrow. It's also really foggy today. It's like almost quite eerie.